If you've ever tried to run an online event, you know the feeling. You're trying to wade through this super complex world of video platforms, and it just feels like none of them do exactly what you need. Well, today, we're going to dig into why that is. It's such a common feeling. You have a simple goal, you just want to connect with your audience, but the software itself seems to create more headaches than it solves. I promise you are not alone in feeling this way. Since 2020, video has become totally fundamental to how we do everything: work, learn, even just hang out. But so many of the tools we're leaning on were actually built for a different world, and it's left us with this confusing patchwork of options that don't quite fit together. So let's jump into our first section, our new video world. The big question is, why is finding the right tools so darn hard? That's what we're going to unpack. You know, the answer isn't just about a missing feature here or there. The confusion is actually baked right into the design of most video software. It all comes from this fundamental split in how these platforms think about online communication. And that split is between two completely different worlds: meetings and webinars. Seriously, once you understand this divide, it becomes so clear why your current tools can feel so incredibly limiting. Okay, so first, let's talk about the meeting. The best way to think about this is like a digital roundtable. The whole point is interaction and collaboration. Everybody in that virtual room has a voice and can be a part of the conversation. But then, on the flip side, you have the webinar. This is not a roundtable. It's a stage. It's a one-to-many broadcast where a host, or maybe a few hosts, are presenting to an audience that mostly just listens and watches. And this difference is absolutely crucial. Meetings are all about participation, that roundtable vibe. Webinars are about a controlled performance, like on a stage. The problem is, pretty much every video platform out there forces you to choose one of these models before your event even starts. So with that distinction in mind, let's take a look at the tools we use every single day and see how they actually handle this divide. This is where you really start to see their limits. Let's start with the big ones, the platforms that probably dominate your calendar: Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Google Meet. These were all built first and foremost for that round-table meeting experience. And don't get me wrong, they are fantastic for interactive conversations. But the second you want to switch gears and do a webinar, it's a clunky, totally separate add-on. And we've all been there. Trying to play a video is just a glitchy, low-quality screen share. Oh, and trying to charge for an event? Good luck navigating the complex, expensive premium plans. This really just hits the nail on the head. These platforms are all about that real-time conversation, but they totally sacrifice video quality and the flexibility to move between different formats. Okay, now let's hop over to the other side of that great divide, the broadcast-first tools. Here we're talking about platforms like StreamYard, Riverside, and the powerhouse open-source tool OBS. These are built for the stage. These tools give you incredible control over your video quality, making your broadcast look super professional. But they create this really firm wall between you and your audience. Yeah, they can type in a chat, but the experience is mostly passive. And as for making money, you're entirely dependent on the rules of whatever platform you're streaming to, like YouTube or Twitch. And that's the trade-off, right? You get all this amazing production power, but you lose that direct interactivity. It's a one-way street that locks you into that stage performance model, and you can't get out of it. So this divide we've been talking about, great interaction with bad video on one side and amazing video with no interaction on the other, it really highlights three key problems that someone needs to solve if we're ever going to bridge this gap. So problem number one is the total lack of flexibility. What if you could just seamlessly transition from that interactive roundtable discussion to a polished professional broadcast, all within the same event, with just a click? Problem number two is that quality issue. Imagine this. What if you could play a pre-recorded video and know for sure that your entire audience is seeing it in perfect high definition because it's being streamed directly from a server, not from your potentially spotty home internet connection? And finally, monetization. What if you could just charge for your event, simply and directly? No navigating complex enterprise plans, no relying on another platform's ad revenue, just a straightforward way to get paid for your work. Well, it turns out one platform was actually designed from the ground up to address all three of these problems head-on. That platform is Communicada. All right, so let's get the complete picture now. We're going to put it all together and see how these different platforms really stack up against each other. This is where it all becomes crystal clear. When you lay it all out on a chart like this, the gaps become really obvious. Your broadcast tools like StreamYard, no meeting switch. Your meeting tools like Zoom, no easy switch either, and they rely on screen sharing. And direct monetization is a challenge almost everywhere. But then you look at Communicada, and by design, it's positioned to be a yes in all three of these critical categories.
So to sum it all up, the difference really comes down to these three things: the ability to seamlessly move between that interactive meeting mode and a polished webinar mode, the fact that you get flawless video playback because it's coming from a server, and the simple built-in per-event payments using Stripe or PayPal.
And this really raises an important question for anybody who's running online events or creating video content. Are your current tools truly built for what you need to do today? Or are they actually holding you back? Based on what we've looked at, it might just be time to rethink your toolkit.